Welcome to Rauta, welcome to Germany. This time we have some Norwegian friends in Germany, Acherontic Arts IV. As a background, we have the Van Records stuff, and now you know why. We're talking about bands either on Van or territory possessions, like seems to be the case with this headlining act today. Whoredom Rife, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our guests of today. Sir, please state your name. Why are you here with me tonight?
My name is Vegard, and I'm here tonight playing this Acherontic festival with Whoredom Rife, of course. And tonight I will be playing drums as usual. Yeah, we just woke up from a nap and
Very fresh.
Yeah, and we're getting ready in approximately an hour. So we got expectations. Looking forward to it.
Blasting Germany away. What about you, sir? Who are you? Why are you here with me?
My name is Kjell. I'm the vocalist in Whoredom Rife, and yeah, I'm here to play
So
and get drunk.
on albums, you are a two-man band, but on stage there are obviously more than that, just two of us.
Yeah.
Or two of you.
Yeah.
What do we need to know about the live lineup of Whoredom Rife? How it is versus the core of the band?
Me and Vegard are the core, I would say, but we have to use live musicians to even play the concerts. So, and yeah, we have a few different ones that we will change sometimes because they are also occupied with other bands and stuff like that. So this time we have Chris from Misutaist and Kurt from Theotoxin.
So what do you require when you're like taking those so-called mercenaries into the band? Do you have some kind of a test, or is it all about based on these are the trusted guys and
Yeah, it's
so forth?
kind of the trusted guys, yeah. We select them carefully.
Now,
So,
the succeeding question is, why did you decide to go just by two of you instead of a, say, full band with 4 or 5 guys?
It happened just naturally because when we started making the music, it's only the two of us that's in the studio anyway. And the whole thing with the other members is merely just a live thing. And by the time we started recording, we didn't even know if we were going to play live. So I guess we just founded the band and didn't really think ahead, you know, as far as live playing goes. But when we decided we wanted to play live, we obviously we can do it by ourselves. So we needed guitar players and a bass player because I do want to play the drums when we perform. Like Kjell was talking about, we selected the chosen few that we already had in mind. And of course, these were people we knew from before and what they stand for and the fact that they actually can play and they're reliable. And it has changed a little bit over time because life gets in the way.
Well, yeah, it tends to get in the way when you're getting older and all that stuff.
Yeah, and it's perfectly fine. We do have some backup cards, so to speak, because we don't want to be held back by somebody else, especially when we're two people in the main band and we have our vision and the plans that we want to fulfill. We need people that can back us, and if it proves too hard for someone to keep up with our schedule, we are very honest about that. Then we will have to look at somebody else. And I think I can say from past experiences with like having a full band, if someone can't make it, let's say we're 5 people in the band and one person can't make a gig because it's his grandmother's birthday, and the four of us have to suffer for it. I don't think it's a good thing. So we didn't make the live members like full-time members because of that. It's just now that we see that we have some potential steady full-time members within that group of live musicians that we could actually make full-time members.
Okay, that sounds really reasonable.
Yeah.
But talking about the creation of music for Minttu being the core of two people and all, how is Whoredom Rife music being written? How it's created?
Well, basically it's just riffing on the guitar, and it always has been. A lot of the music that's especially on the first album and a little bit scattered throughout the rest of the albums as well are like really old riffs that stayed with me for, I mean, since like the mid 90s, some of them. And I've always been a guitar player besides being a drummer, but not professionally. The guitar was always like my second instrument,
yeah.
But I never tried to be like a guitar player, or like I never learned like solos the real way anyway. For me it was second instrument, and it also was something that I used for expressing myself and writing riffs and songs. So basically everything was, I'd have to say that 90% was written on an acoustic guitar, because I always keep an acoustic guitar with me,
Yeah.
probably most of the time. And the reason why I play guitar is because I got stuff that I want to create, you know. And I guess you're probably going to ask about this later, but we both were engaged in different musical careers.
Yeah, I want to go
before we started.
that
Yeah.
a little bit later.
Yeah.
But okay, let's talk about the vocalist side then again. But because on the surface side, it seems like, okay, you're the guy taking care of like guitars and drums and so forth, and you're of course the vocalist who spits out these words and all that stuff. So correct me if I'm wrong, but is it more like you write the riffs, create the drum patterns and etc., and then you create the lyrics and
Not the lyrics.
but the vocal? How do you put it together then? Is it all you and you just do the vocals?
Well,
or,
for the most part, but it doesn't have to be. You know,
Okay.
it's not written in stone. But it's I guess it all happens because of the way we work.
Okay.
And a lot of times, whenever I got stuff that I'm fairly satisfied with, I will always take it to the studio. I'll take it from the acoustic guitar and I'll go with the electric guitar and just record my riffs. And sometimes that whole process is really inspiring. And a lot of the times more stuff will happen while I sit down and record, and then a song starts building. And the more inspired I get, the more I kind of work with it, and a lot of the times it ends up being like a demo for a whole song. And then I always send it to Kjell, and we listen to it, and we come up with ideas for lyrics and vocals as well. And then when Kjell has gotten the music under his skin, he will come to the studio and we start working on the vocals with his ideas. Mostly my lyrics, but we work with it together. We can have like a lyric sheet, and we can work together, like this word doesn't fit, we should change that word, maybe we should start with that word, you know. Small details.
So it's like a cooperation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in that work situation, I would work like more like a studio engineer, because I'm taking care of the recordings while Kjell is focusing on the vocals, and we try to we try to listen and work with the material until it feels natural, and and then once we're satisfied with something, we keep listening, and we go back and we change a few things, and when it's done, it's done.
Okay.
So that's the thing. It's like, I think all of our releases are initially demos. We just work with them until they were like satisfactory projects.
Okay, that's a very reasonable approach.
Yeah. We never go and re-record stuff, or like, well, that's the demo and now we're going to record the album. We work in the same session because we just gradually enhance the recording and the project until we're satisfied, and then we send it to Rune Stamnesli, who has been a major player as far as production for Whoredom Rife, and I will use this opportunity to thank him for his work as well, because without him this would be a lot harder for us.
Okay. Talking about lyrics, which you have to interpret and do your own style, how much, or let's put it this way, how important are the lyrics are the right kind of lyrics, that they have the right kind of mood, right kind of ideas, and so forth?
Of course, that's important. If not, you cannot. To give the right feeling on it. So of course, I need to get into his lyrics and try to make a meaning of it. To make it sound like you mean it and it's real. And for me, it is, because we are connected in that kind of way with the same thoughts about what he's writing lyrics about and stuff like that. So, but I like the way I can do the song singing, because I have free, no boundaries. So I always like to just jump into it and see what happens. And
I don't know who knows better, but let's talk about the band name, Whoredom Rife.
Yeah.
What does it really mean? What's the reason why you chose to go with it?
First of all, there's a misconception about the first EP that we released.
Okay.
Because it's self-titled, but a lot of people think that the title is idolatry, and the what is the term? It's I think it's something like cultivating the idols instead of God. But it's actually, if you really look at how it's written, that's just the word explained. But what it really means is, it means Ragnarok. But it's Voluspo. That's the old the tales of the creation of the Norse mythology.
Yeah.
There is a version that I read that was translated to English, and there's a passage in that Voluspo poem about the end of the world, where they said it's an axe age, it's a sword age, it's Whoredom Rife, shields are riven, it's Whoredom Rife. And if you translate it directly, it wouldn't make sense, because like Whoredom Rife means something, prostitute all over the place,
Yeah, so
it
that's
sounds
always
stupid.
made me wonder what's the meaning.
Yeah, the Whoredom Rife is like when you see stuff going to shit, everybody just cares about themselves, and they start stabbing each other and stabbing their brothers.
So kind of like every man for himself, kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's when all goes to shit, you're all on your own.
Okay, now it makes so much more sense. I feel enlightened.
Whoredom is rife.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Now we get back to the very question we talked earlier. We want to talk a little bit of your past. I'll go back to Shell this time.
Okay.
Now, obviously, you guys are not 20s anymore, and Whoredom Rife is then again quite a new band in a sense. And of course, people are like figuring, okay, so how come these almost 50-year-old guys now created a new band back in their like almost 40s or whatever. So obviously there's like a gap to be filled, and people who have been reading know already what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the bands you did before Whoredom Rife was born, which is a key, I guess, ingredient to creating or becoming to this point where you have this so-called new band, not new band, but newer than the old ones. So you are obviously most known, I guess, for before Whoredom Rife, for Bloodthorn.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was a very, very different band in terms of music, but still very much in the core of extreme metal coming from Norway.
Yeah.
What can you tell about those years versus nowadays? Like if you look at like a, how to say, in hindsight, taking a look at Bloodthorn years, how it feels like to you nowadays?
I joined Bloodthorn because Tom started it in '92 to create the ideas for it. And when we met, both of us understood that we liked the same kind of music, the same kind of ideas. So we made the demo, which I think is very cold and right in the old black metal kind of stuff. And then we started to record an album, and we got a contract with Season of Mist. And we needed more people, and that's where the mistake was in some kind of way. But I liked the two albums, or the two first albums, but it's changed more into more kind of death metal stuff in the fourth album.
Yeah.
So, but it was fun years. I learned a lot from it. So we were doing this until I think 2005 or something, 2006. And we chose to put it down after recording the fifth album that was supposed to come out, but somebody deleted it in the studio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then we just, fuck it, we quit.
So this was your like, okay, now it's time to move on and create something new.
Yeah, I was kind of tired of doing metal music and or music in general. I still listen to music, but I went on fishing and trying to get away from people more than.
So you needed a break.
I needed a long break, yeah.
But you eventually came back, and now this time it was kind of going back to the roots in a sense.
Yeah.
In which case we turned back to Vegard. You were obviously most known for Keep of Kalessin, which of course has a very, very big part of Norwegian 1990s black metal, even if back in the days it felt like the new band after all the original ones, but now in hindsight it feels like it was always there. So you were a big part of that, but you eventually jumped off the ship.
Yeah.
Why?
It didn't feel right anymore. And it was very demanding, like for a drummer to play in that band. But that's not the reason why I quit. I actually enjoy the challenge, and but the reason why I quit is because I actually, despite like pouring my heart and soul into it, I still felt bored. The music stopped being interesting for me. It was like, I think we developed into something that I couldn't stand behind.
It changed quite a bit in the style. I mean, the early albums are very, very much like the kind of a trademark Norwegian black metal in a very cold and dark sense, and then it started kind of getting lighter in a way.
And when you look at Keep of Kalessin, it has a chronology. It's like we started here and it's still going. But to be honest, it wasn't like a real timeline here because we had many breaks and we had lineup changes. We had periods where nothing happened. So I would say like this band was dead a couple of times throughout the early years as well. And I think the first time it changed was, of course, when Arnt started the band again with Attila and Frost with the mini LP. But then it got a lot of attention, and I'm not sure how it happened, but I guess it's pretty naturally to ask the old drummer to come back into the band when...
Yeah, you came back?
Yeah. and we recorded the Armada album,
Yeah.
which I still feel I can really stand behind. I think it's a good album. But it definitely challenged a little bit of the so-called true black metal. What do you call it? The expression.
Yeah, the essence in a way.
Yeah. We definitely were not in the middle of it, but we were challenging it from a side perspective, kind of. And from there, I think we started developing more and more into something that I really didn't feel. You know, it was still intense, it was still extreme, and we were working hard, and we had a great deal of success, so to speak, but I felt in the end that I was bored with the music. It didn't give me anything, and that was what really sparked me into getting back to my old riffs and the project that really was conceived back in the mid-90s. So I started recording all my riffs because they were just in my memory at that point.
Yeah.
I would say this about maybe like 2010, 2011, when I decided I need to buy like a home studio and preserve my ideas and make my own songs. So by the time that I decided to quit, I already had made the first album for Whoredom Rife, so I didn't want to have a gap, you know, between one band and the other. I wanted to make a foundation so I can step right over. So I think it was in 2014 that me and Kjell got back together again and started recording stuff, and you know, the rest is history.
It felt also something that we had both something unfinished.
It always like something was stirring up, but it took time to kind of born in a way.
Yeah, I will say so.
Now, this is something that, feel free to disagree with me, but I think you guys need to hear it from me in a way. It's like back in the days when we were like, you know, because we were roughly the same age and all. I remember obviously everybody was big on Norwegian black metal. The 90s was so great, and until it wasn't, suddenly in the late 90s things started going down, and suddenly Norwegian black metal wasn't exactly the same anymore. And I mean, I get it. Like, okay, I will rather go fishing. And for a long time, it felt like Norwegian black metal, when it was 2000, lots of old bands started changing or quitting, and suddenly felt like, what happened to Norwegian black metal? It's gone, and everybody's like, oh, fuck it, that time was gone. And suddenly we have Whoredom Rife, which is more like, okay, let's bring back the fucking 90s spirit. Like, we didn't go anywhere, we just got older. But now we're here with the new bands, and I'm not like trying to brown nose you, but one of the reasons, because I saw you like, maybe it was almost 10 years ago for the first time when you played actually in my home city. Turku, so I was like, what is this band? Like, what the fuck? Like, how come this is the first time I hear? And it wasn't like just one album you did, and that was good, but everything else you made was like good. And I'm like, what is happening in Norway? It's like getting kind of a reset. Like, let's go back in the 90s, even though nowadays there are obviously not that many bands, but you have the kind of a 90s spirit.
Yeah.
So putting my question on the map is, how important it is to you to have this feeling like, okay, we're older, but we want to have the old flame burning once again?
Yes, it's a good question, and also I agree with a lot of the stuff that you brought up. It's true. You know, I used to say, because we're perceived by many as a retro band, but we are not, and I've said this in interviews before, that we are not retro, we're just late.
Well, I guess that's more accurate, right?
It is, yeah. And the thing is, like, we both grew up listening to what today would be classified as classic black metal, and not only Norwegian. We were huge Bathory fans, and even like a lot of Swedish death metal, and you know, we are inspired by older music, definitely. And for my part, it was like at the same time I was getting tired with Keep of Kalessin. I always tried to find new music that I liked, but it was getting harder and harder because either you have heard it or the band had done exactly the same as Keep of Kalessin. They kind of wimped out, you know.
I know what you mean. There are lots of those bands.
Yeah, or they were getting too experimental. Or they didn't play anymore, or they were in jail, or you know. So a lot of my favorite bands and my favorite music just wasn't there anymore. And then there was a thought in the back of my head, like, and this is like an old mantra, everybody's heard it, like, if you want something done, you have to do it yourself.
Well, it's true in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of those bands are like, how come nobody's doing this shit? I'm gonna just pick my own guitar and fucking do it.
Exactly, and that's what I did. It's like, fuck, I'm gonna create the music that I want to listen to.
Yeah, the kind of what would get you the spark of the younger days.
And it wasn't really intentional, like making Norwegian 90s black metal, but that's what happened because that's obviously what I wanted to listen to.
Well, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, and like the first song I recorded, I sent it to Kjell, and I knew he wasn't singing anymore. He wasn't in
Fishing, just fishing.
He was just fishing, and but I know.
Oh yeah.
I know his passion for music.
Yeah.
So it's like, Kjell, please listen to this. Should we do something about this?
Too
And
busy
he's like,
fishing.
fuck yeah, I'm back, you know. So that's how we kind of started up again. So it was always a very like natural thing for us, and we talked about it throughout the years also that we will keep it this way, and as long as it feels natural, as long as it's within the frame of mind that we want to operate in, we'll keep doing it as long as it makes sense to us.
Which takes us back to Kjell. What made you realize, okay, these guys for real, I want to go back to having bands, not just fish?
It was when he sent me the songs, and I could immediately hear this is actually the black metal stuff I like and want to do. It wasn't hard to realize he made fantastic music, so it was bullseye for me.
Let's go even back into the past. What made you be the vocalist in the first place? Like, what gave you the idea that, hey, I should fucking sing, man?
Because I was bad in guitar.
Because you're left-handed.
Yeah, left-handed,
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah,
it wasn't easy before, but yeah. So I played the bass a few times, but I tried vocal and I found out that I was better doing the vocal.
You're quite a beast on stage, which is almost like, I mean, this is a very, very positive thing, obviously.
Yeah.
But as a person, you're the kind of a warm-hearted, like, hey, nice, friendly fella. And on stage, it's like, I don't want to go near that beast. Like, do you have to get into some kind of a mental state in order to become that beast?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I have to have a little time for myself and build up, you know, and when I walk on stage, it's like it's coming. The animal inside.
How much it takes time or effort to just revert back to the normal human being after that?
Depends, actually. If it was a good gig, normally very quickly. If it was a hard gig, hard audience, then it takes a longer time because I use more energy to try to make them go wild. So, well, I don't know how to explain it. It's just happening.
I guess I know. What about you? Do you have to have certain kind of set, like, okay, the drumsticks, we have a work to do. Do you have to get into the mindset to explode the audience with the drums and all?
Not that much anymore. It used to be more like this back in the day. But I have to say, I have a lot of experience from playing live. And the more experience I get, the less time I need to prepare, so to speak. For me, it's almost like a light switch. I know I'm going to be on stage in like 2 hours. It doesn't affect me at all. I know what I have to do to get ready, and once I go on stage, I'm there.
Okay.
And so for me, it's no real. There's no thought process. There's no. Not really any mental preparation. It's just to switch.
So the transition is just natural.
Yeah.
Talking of which, since you said that you create the riffs and make the songs, but you play them on the drums, do you ever feel like there is something that you kind of have to get into your teacher or mentor mode? Like, okay, this is how the riff goes, or don't play it like that. You have to play it like this.
Yeah, of course. We do rehearse, especially with new guys. There's like details that we need to go over, and I'm not gonna like. I'm not micromanaging, but I'm making sure that it sounds right, and I think, at least to myself, that I like to give a little bit of space and creativity left to the musician as well, as long as it works, if you play the right stuff, I'm not gonna argue like how you play it, as long as it sounds right.
Yep.
And do what's comfortable for you. If you play it down here or if you play it up here, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does. Sometimes it feels a little warmer up here,
Yeah.
And sometimes you need open strings to get the right to get the right sound, stuff like that. I can be managing a little bit, but I never believed in micromanaging. I believe that people will what is it called? Perform.
Yeah, have a little bit of their own ways to.
Yeah. Give a little leeway, and I think people perform better when they got some say in it.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But what is Whoredom Rife, first and foremost? A band that does songs and albums, or a band that performs live?
Both.
But if you had to choose, like, I know this is a very annoying question, but
that's easy, because if we didn't make an album, we wouldn't play live either. So.
Well, you do have a point, but I mean, like, there are these bands like, we could just play this one album all night long, and you don't really have to make more music in that sense. I mean, which gives you more energy? Let's put it this way.
I'd say it's a symbiosis, because the songwriting and the whole studio thing, like being creative and channeling whatever is going on inside, like that's part of the process. I'd almost call it therapy.
Yep.
And getting this stuff out is one thing, but then again, when you have created something, you do want to perform it as well. And I think like making music, performing it, and getting back, making new music, it's like a wheel that's spinning.
Oh yeah. Ever go in circle?
Yeah.
But do you ever feel like, okay, I don't want to play these old songs because the newer ones are better or more relevant or something like that?
There are like songs that are, we are more tired of than new songs, especially. But we don't have an Ace of Spades. It's not like we played Ace of Spades 5,000 times.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So and we're not making hit music, and there's not like the crowds aren't cheering for that special song.
Yeah.
Even though I know there's some favorites among the public. I never had that experience, like I don't want to play this song because I'm tired of it. It's more like we always take into consideration if this is a good song for the live set.
Yeah.
And we tried doing a couple of songs like that we thought we were really pleased with the songs and we wanted to perform them live, but we put them in the set and we noticed, like, even the first time we played it, that this isn't a live song, so we just took it away and replaced it with some. And I think that the set that we have now is like the best songs for playing live.
Okay.
And I think we should try to keep it that way instead of like trying to perform our favorite songs, so to speak. I would rather perform the songs that works in a live environment.
All right.
Yeah.
And now we change totally the different subject. Fishing.
Okay.
So,
Can I go?
what are the best fish out of Norway you can have?
To eat or to go fish?
Go fish.
Arctic char.
Why so?
I don't know. It's the most beautiful fish you can catch.
What kind of relation you could say there is between, I don't know, fishing and playing in a band? Do you need like one another to support the other, or?
For me, it's to go to the mountains, stay in a tent, go fishing, just you and the fishing rod. It's really nice to get away from people, and also you save some energy and come back, and you can really get into the music again. And it's for me, it's like healthy to do this.
Yeah, I'm asking because obviously you're not the only one, and not even like this is not obviously just in Norway. Of course, there's like lots of people in other countries, Finland as well, who are like, when I go fishing, it's like a whole different mind. But obviously, Norway is known for beautiful nature. You have the mountains, you have the seaside, you have forests, you have quite a bit of everything.
Yeah.
And that is, of course, has been always very inspiring for a lot of black metal bands out there too.
Yeah.
Like especially the ones that are not so much about, say, satanic topics and all that stuff. So, does this nature and going out in the open to go for fishing and all, does it affect the way you do music?
Probably, I would say so. Yeah, and it keeps me close to the nature in some kind of way. So, again, hard to explain, but for me, I think, and for my head, it's very necessary to do it. So, if you have bad days and you go on fishing, you come back as a new man.
Okay, this is a silly question, but do you feel like I'm gonna fucking nail you with the fishing? Like, I'm gonna go back at the fish. We had a shitty audience. I'm gonna like fish 10 out of you and
I'm
fry
not
you.
thinking about it at all. But
This is, like I said, this was a silly question.
But no, I am so into the fishing and the scenery that I forget the world behind.
So it's a needed balancing factor in the world.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Before we wrap things up, because we're gonna save something for the future as well. Now, if we could use this as a, say, some kind of a springboard to bring people to find more about Whoredom Rife, which song or release they should start with in case you're there newcomers to the band? Are there certain tracks like this really is the important one or the starting point for the band?
Oi, that was a hard question.
I know it's an annoying question too, but if you have like a favorite song that say like this gives a soul to the band.
It changes, from the mood, from day by day. One day I like that song, the next day I like the other song, and I think I like most of the songs, so it's very hard to just pick one for me. But first album is always the
Firstborn Baby.
It's like that, and I really like that one. I like everyone, but that one was special since we started with that one.
All right.
Yeah.
What about you? Is there a certain song or two, or maybe a release that like has a certain special meaning, maybe?
Well, I think it's a little bit like Kjell said. It's a little bit the day-to-day factor, I guess. But I have no favorites in that perspective. But I can say something that's it's a little related to what you're talking about, though, and that's the Need album, the second one. I think maybe that album we overworked it a little bit. We used a lot of time. We recorded it twice, actually. That's the first time I've ever done. And also I've recorded the drums for it at home, and then we recorded the whole album in Ålesund, where Rune lives, our guy for the sound. And it ended up being not exactly what I had in mind. And I think we almost overthought it a little bit.
I think so too, and I think the album is great.
Yeah.
It's just the sound we could maybe, yeah.
Yeah, there's something that's a little bit off for my taste on that album, and I think it's a little bit disappointing because I'm really happy with some of the songs on that album, and I especially want to name New Hate Dawns from that album. It does not get the what it deserves on that album. So that's one of the few songs that I would really like to re-record and do it now that we have more experience and we're getting into like knowing our sound and our stuff a little bit more, So I would like to highlight that song, and I hope that people can try and appreciate that song a little bit more, because I really think it's strong.
Okay, now it totally deserves more listening to have the people figuring out the reasons behind it and all that stuff. Before we go, quick look to the future. Let's say 26, 27, what will happen possibly in Whoredom Rife's life?
We'll keep on doing what we're doing, and hopefully by then we will have a new album out. There are a lot of material in the works. People may not know, but we have been recording a lot of shit that is not released yet, and a lot. Like, I think every album we scrapped 2 or 3 or 4 songs. Yeah. So, and it wasn't because they weren't good enough or anything. It's just that they didn't really fit the album. So we have a whole catalog with songs that are recorded, but they're in. We just put it in a different folder because it didn't make the album. So instead of forcing it, it's just been laying there. And we have another folder with new material that has never been it's some of the songs we tried to do some vocals on. A couple of songs, I think the vocals are done. And there's maybe 10, 15 songs that we didn't even try vocals on. And these are songs that are still in the works. We need to look at them a little bit, we do like to go back and change stuff because you need to listen. And that's very important. I feel like there's one thing like sitting in front of your recording studio and performing, but you have to take yourself away from that possibility to edit every fucking thing that gets into your mind and actually listen. And we haven't gotten to that stage with the new songs yet. We need to pick out maybe 10 songs or 8 songs that we do want to continue working with. And we'll go back and look at what works and what doesn't, and start recording vocals for it. And I think by 26, 27 we will have another full length out. Maybe in the meantime we'll do something in between also.
All right.
I'm not going to say too much about it right now, but there are plans in the works, and hopefully we'll keep playing these shows like this. We have a few tours that are in the works as well. We're looking to we have a plan for going to South America. There's nothing like I can't say anything about it yet, but there are plans about getting us to South America, and the people are asking for it. And also we want to do we would definitely like to do a tour in the US, but
Asia also.
Yeah, but it's things. The stars have to line up, in order to make this. And we definitely want to go to places that you wouldn't expect. But of course, there's a logistic side to it, and there's an economic side to it.
Lots of different things to consider.
Yeah, but we're definitely willing to sacrifice in order to play in areas that we find interesting ourselves, you know.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Now, before we conclude, a word of wisdom to your 20 years younger version of you. What kind of a tip you would give to the younger Shell?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have anything to say.
No words of wisdom. Okay, what about you, sir? You could give a tip to your 20 or 30 years younger version of yourself. What would you tell to this guy?
Record your stuff now and get it out.
Well, that's a pretty
That's a good one.
short and sweet.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Now you know a little bit more about the past, the present, things going on in this guy's mind. So maybe go fishing one, start recording your own songs before it's too late, because it's never too late. These guys had bands that were gone, and then they came back with full force, making even better bands than before. So never too late until you die. So please, people, make it happen. Regret when you're in grave and all. So this is Acherontic Arts IV. This is Whoredom Rife. This is Rauta. Thank you for being with us. Stay metal, stay brutal. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Save it a little bit for the future as well.
Yeah.
Because you never know, in a few years we might have part 2. And before you go, let's take a quick photo. Sure.